with money as well, years to come. And not all dzidzirwa mumba as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can overlook it.
Yeah, we say that, and sometimes the first time that you now have to deal with money maybe is Pawato Wauto Shanda. This is after uni. You're working, you've gotten your first lump sum and you don't know what to do with it. And the first thing is maybe you get into debt because nobody has actually taught you anything about money. So it's important to give this foundational basics. Then the second one would be personal development. So often you'd hear parents saying, what do I grade for? But also going to watch my socks. I say, you know, as a child, you're not going to be able to do something just because you've added a year to your age. It actually has to be taught. You can be grade 7 and still not able to cook or do anything because nobody taught you. So think about what the skills, relevant skills that you want your child to learn in this new year. What do you want them to learn? Are they 16 now? Do you want them to get a driving license? Do you want them to be taking their younger siblings to school? Now maybe they are older. Is it time for you to teach them to cook sadza? Is it time to teach them to cook in general? Is it time for them to start learning to clean their bedroom, depending on the age? So you have to have a plan. You have to think about all those things. And if you are intentional and you have a plan, then it's going to be easy, and you're actually going to be monitoring the progress, because you can see these are my expectations and what's happening versus my expectations. There's a big gap, so I need to up my game. And then the next one would be spiritual development. So in terms of their spirituality, you know, we hear of stories and incidences where when our pastor or when our elder does something that's totally opposite to what the parents believe. But a child will not automatically borrow your values and walk in them. It's up to you as a parent to ensure that they also are learning the same thing that you're learning. Because if your child is maybe still 5, 6, they're not going to be learning much from the main church. So you now need to maybe buy comic books for them to learn the word in an age-appropriate way. Maybe you need to send them to children's school and ensure that you're paying for the church camps and all of that. So what are you going to do to ensure that your child develops spiritually? So first, you ought to have an idea or a vision of the kind of child you want spiritually, and then you write what you think you can do as a parent to help achieve that goal. And then the other thing...
that's so powerful. Like you say, sometimes we just assume it's going to happen. As you said, for PKs, like pastors' kids, but then because of that assumption. But then some things, spirituality, you can really guide them and train them.
Yeah,
really learning. Thank you so much.
You definitely need that. Imagine this. Let's say you've enrolled or you're doing some master's, whatever program at uni, and then you make it a habit to take your son there. So just because they're professors, you're learning and all that, doesn't mean your son is also going to be learning along with you, because they're just too young to be learning that
That's
stuff.
funny.
Yeah. So you need to have like an age-appropriate academic plan for them. In the same way, when it comes to spiritual matters, you don't say, church, Pastor, I'm going to aesthetic. Therefore, my 3-year-old, 4-year-old is also learning along with me. No, they won't be learning anything. They'll be busy counting and all of that.
Yeah.
They need an age-appropriate way to learn. Then the next one would be dating and marriage.
Tapa nambani.
Number
6, Museko.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dating and marriage. This is important. Even if your child is still 10, it's time to start like talking about that, because what many people do, many parents do, is at any given age they think their child is too young. Even in 19, they think their child is
then you just wake up one day and you're too old.
Yeah, you're too old. They're expecting it. Yet there hasn't been anything intentional. So sometimes it may not be talking, it may be praying about it. Sometimes it may be just exposing them. You know, the good thing is we are living in an internet age, where if you search for things that you're interested in, you know, the algorithms will learn your behavior and will start giving you things that are relevant and related to what you're interested in. So if you show that you are interested in parenting and you want to teach your child about this, then they're going to be suggesting to you workshops, programs where you learn, where you interact with like-minded people and you get ideas on how to actually help your child. And then we are now on number 7, so friendships. This is important.
So what about dating and marriage? We talk to them, we pray for them, and
yeah, this is talking to them, praying for them, looking for materials to help them, to guide them.
I'm like, now, like with the TV content, even, you know, sometimes they try to push sexual orientation. What's the what conversation do you then have with your son or your daughter? Kumudza,
Yeah,
because
speaking of
it
that,
can surprise them. My son the other time was like, Mom, like, yeah.
yes, speaking of that, I think it's actually important for parents to take time to watch like my cartoons, the movies and all that kids are watching, so that you understand what you are up against. And then it's also important to be there and providing information, because what many kids and even adults don't realize is they think if something is on television or is on the internet, it is there for the right thing. You know, they don't even care about who is giving this information on TV, who is behind this movie, who's behind
what agenda they pushing.
Yeah. So it's important to explain that to children. And I think adults also need to know that just because something is on the internet, it doesn't mean it's credible. Sometimes all it takes is for somebody to have the money, because if I have the money, I can buy ads like on Facebook, and what that means is my agenda, my information is going to spread. And just because it's spreading and a lot of people are getting the information doesn't mean it's the right information. It's only that I have the money and I'm pushing it out. So it's even more important nowadays to start the conversations early, because there are other teachers out there, like you said, cartoons and all of that. And then what number are we on now? Number seven, friendships. And it's important to actually come up with a criteria for choosing friends and helping your children have friends. Because how kids make friends, including teenagers, is this: if we learn together, we therefore are friends. If we use the same bus to school, we're friends. If we play hockey together, we're friends. But it's important for parents to explain to kids that it's beyond just having a little thing in common. What should define friendships are values, like your core values. So if, for example, you believe in God and then you have a friend who doesn't believe in God, that person can't be your friend, because this is something that's fundamental. It's significant. If you disagree in that fundamental thing, then you can't be friends. Yes, you can be acquaintances, associates, play football together, but it should end there. But sometimes kids, just because they have that little thing in common, they then become friends, and yet they've got so many other fundamental things that they do not agree with. This is when peer pressure now then comes into being, because on the fundamentals, they're different. And now your child no longer wants to go that way, but the person that they claim to be their friends is wanting to go the other way. So it's important to come up with a criteria together with the child, so that they will know, oh, okay, so these are not my friends. They're just people I learn with. Okay, these are just my neighbors. They don't necessarily have to be my friends. And then the last one would be boundaries. So, you know, there are times where a parent would maybe bring a child for a session and they're feeling that the child did something wrong. And then you talk to the child doesn't see anything wrong with what they did. So what it means is that the parent and the child don't have the same point of reference. So their compass on what's right and wrong is actually different. So it becomes difficult. It's important to discuss boundaries so that your child knows the don'ts, that these are the rules in this house, so that should they violate any of the rules, before you even come to them to remind them that they've done something wrong, they actually have a guilty conscience. They know that I wasn't supposed to do this. So they are even expecting a punishment. So if you then go to them, explain you've done this wrong and all that, they will accept it. But if the boundaries are not known, sometimes you say you've done something wrong, and what have I done wrong? And this is where they will become rebellious, and it will be a big problem.
Okay, the 8 segments quickly.
Okay, so the first one is communication, academics, finances, personal development, spiritual development, dating and marriage, friends or friendships, and then the last one is boundaries.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Coach Tafadzwa. Very informative. How can people get in touch with you?
So my WhatsApp number is 0773 606 728. 0773 606 0728. I'm very responsive on WhatsApp.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We will be back with Coach Tafadzwa next Tuesday, same time. Taking your time to exactly 11 o'clock. It is time for the news.